Well, this one's a red letter day, folks. I don't usually do much boxing on here, but I've got 2 boxing stories same day. It's only 5 stories today, so 2/5 of it's boxing. Yes, I was reading a story earlier, you may or may not have read it, about a massive tear-up that took place 30 years ago, this coming Tuesday, 30 years ago, between Nigel Benn and Gerald McClellan. Was he christened G-Man? I think he was. A tear-up with severe repercussions for the guy from that there America. I don't know if you remember it or not, but many people do remember it, but it's one we can't forget, because McClellan almost died. Never been the same since. Was in a coma, I think, for 11 days, and then I think since then he's had brain issues. He can't remember much. He's been confined to a wheelchair. I think he's got a stoma on and whatever else. It's not been great for him. He's not had the greatest of lives. Anyway, I've read a piece today. I was enthralled with it, to be honest with you. Written by one of the feature writers in the paper, and with his sister. He's been to McClellan's home, a humble abode now, I think, and met his sister and his sister who cares for him full time. There used to be 2 of them caring for him. One of them recently died. I think he had 4 siblings, and this sister wasn't the closest by any means, but she's took to task and looking after the brother and for as long as she can and as long as he needs it. Anyway, she said it's been hard. Times have been really hard. He's basically been forgotten by the boxing community, which is very, very sad. She said he's still not right up here and never will be. He remembers the odd thing, but not a hell of a lot. She had stories to tell about Nigel Benn. One of them good, a couple not very good, to be honest with you. He didn't come out with them with a hell of a lot of credit. But she said since he's been home, she said, it's many a year now, she said he virtually is a recluse. He very rarely goes out. He sat there in a new armchair, she said, or a reclining chair. She said he loves it. The problem is we have to get one about every 3 or 4 months, because sometimes he gets in the mood and gets angry and is punching the chair, and he's still got loads of power in him for all he's otherwise incapacitated. She said, but he means nothing by it. She said it's just the medication he's on and whatever else, she said, but he has these spells. She said it's hard work. She said it's really hard work. She said, but if I didn't do it, there'd be nobody else and we won't put him in a home. She said, my dad's still alive and he keeps asking when my dad will be around to see him next, and my dad only spoke to him an hour ago, but he can't remember it. And she said, he's coming in May. He's coming to visit again in May, she said. He forgets things. She said, but visitors, very, very few and far between. He sees nobody, she said. Other than Thomas Earns, they both train in the Cronk gym. She said Earns is a regular caller, which is nice. Said Joe Fraser used to be before he died. You see a lot of Joe Fraser, but obviously he's not with us anymore. And very, very few others, she said. She said it's a shame for him. It's like they've forgotten about him. He still speaks highly of Don King. Thinks he was his friend. He was his promoter. She said he was certainly no friend. I think for the Benn fight, which obviously changed his life forever, I think he got 250,000. Big money not bad money now, but big money in those days. But after expenses and King's fees, he ended up with 67,000. She said 67,000 for a life-changing event isn't a lot. She said, and he doesn't realise how King was to him and how he bled him dry. She said, King's now in his 90s. She said, I try regularly, twice every year. I'll send him letters, try and get hold of him. Never replies to anything, saying, have you not forgotten me, brother? Have you not forgotten, the amount you had out of him, the amount boxing had out of him? Can you not help him in his later years? He's got nothing, he's struggling. She's saying his monthly medical bills are something like $2,200 per month. She said, we just couldn't even afford it. She said, but he gets help. I think she said, is it Suleiman, I think, at the WBC? They have a fund there for ex-boxers, something to do with medication, and he gets it through that, or they give help through. He said, but without that, we'd be struggling. She said, I've got a cares allowance. It doesn't pay for the work I do. But she said, it's my job to do it, so I do it, and I'm getting something. She said, but Gerald sees nothing. She said, he's just not got the greatest life in the world, to say the least, and he's got sort of no help. She said, it's a shame that the only person that remembers him is Thomas Earns, she said, because nobody else does. She said, it's just been hard, and I read it, and I felt really sorry for the fella. Really sorry for the fella. What these sportsmen do for our entertainment. It's only 3 or 4 days ago I'm telling stories of the guy, the Irish jockey, Michael O'Sullivan, that lost his life there at racetrack from a couple of weeks ago. And you look at it, and you look at boxing, they're two hard sports. Jump jockeying and boxing, they're very similar in many ways. every time they go out there, you don't know if they're going to come home, and if they are, how safe they're going to be, and whether their lives are going to have changed in any way, shape or form. Very, very brave fellas. What they do for our entertainment is above and beyond, I suppose, but McClellan, I tell you what, that was a fight that wasn't kind to him at all. Not at all. She's even mentioned about his gum shield. She said they had one of the trainers in his corner wasn't normally with him. She said, I think he knew very, very little about anything. But this trainer said he had evidence that Ben had been taking drugs. She said, but I don't know if it's true, but he never got drug tested. She said, and they give Gerald a gum shield that wasn't his own. She said it was hanging out of his mouth most of the time. Well, did a bit of boxing myself years ago, a long, long time ago now, folks, and you need your own gum shield. The gum shield can stop you getting your jaw broken and whatever else, and the gum shield's moulded to your gums. I mean, you've got to have your own gum shield, and it's got to have the indentations from your own teeth in it. You can't have somebody else's, so that in itself is a bit weird. But yeah, just a sad story, a really, really sad story. I remember the fight. I don't remember it, as I keep saying my memory's crap. I know I watched it. I watched everything Ben did, or Eubank, but especially Ben. I love Ben. But as I say, he doesn't come out of this story with a hell of a lot of glory, really. But anyway, yeah, I just thought I'd tell you. That was it. In fact, she was telling the story about they met once at a fundraiser for Mc CLELLAN. He got £100,000 out of it a few years ago. And Ben come out of it with a bit of kudos, a bit of backslapping, because he was there and whatever else, she said. But turns out we were staying in the same hotel as Ben, and when Ben found out, she said, I've heard some audio, it was shocking. Why am I in the same hotel? I don't want to be in the same hotel. You didn't tell me he was in the hotel with me. I want moving. And they moved Ben out of the hotel. She said, yeah, he's having photographs with my brother with his arm around him and whatever else. And she said, yeah, we got 100,000 out of it, but the event raised $1 million. And I've tried to contact folk and say, well, what happened to the other 900,000? Where did that go to? Anyway, they said they couldn't message me back because they was going to send a message back on the computer, but the computer was broken or something like that. Some stupid reason for not messaging back. She said, but I sent a couple of emails and whatever else, nothing back. Nobody came back to me. She said, just very disappointing. She said, but that's how the whole thing's been since my brother, that fateful night. The whole thing's been disappointing. She said, it's just like a fella out there lost and nobody seems to really care. She said, it's just a sad story, really. An ex-warrior gone in the ring. Was he about 28, 32 at the time? I think he was getting nearer to the end of his career, I think, if memory serves. I think, but I could be wrong there. As I say, that's a night thankful for himself. He doesn't remember and he never will. Oh, that's it. He's blind as well, sorry. Many of you probably know that, but you may not. There's a picture of behind him from the night with him and Ben in the ring. Fantastic picture. She said it's a brilliant, because it's not a picture, it's somebody's drew it. She said it's a fantastic drawing. It's absolutely brilliant. The sad thing is it was done after the fight and he's never seen it. So to this day, he's never seen the picture. Great picture it was, really, really dead smart. You'd want it on your own wall if you was a boxing fan. She said, but he's got it in his wall and never seen it. Just sad, really. Really sad. Right, I'll leave it with you.